Because some journeys are better taken together.
Let's walk the talk. 7:02.
12 minutes now, it is past 5 o'clock. The DA leader, John Steenhuisen, reiterating the party's commitment to the government of national unity yesterday before he had discussions with President Cyril Ramaphosa to iron out the contentious issue of its influence on legislation that has passed during the previous administration. Joining me on the line is political scientist and lecturer at Walter Sisulu University, Mbasa Mvenene. Mbasa, a very good morning and welcome to the show.
Morning to Africa, and thanks for having me.
I think the Federal Council briefing yesterday of the DA went to great lengths to assure, I suppose, DA supporters and South Africans that it will take a lot for them to pull out of the government of national unity. However, there's a lot that they are unhappy about. Does the GNU statement offer enough avenues for John Steenhuisen and I suppose Cyril Ramaphosa to address some of these impasses that the two parties are going through, not only at the moment, but previously as well?
The Democratic Alliance, I believe, not only in this instance, but in previous instances where they've had some kind of a falling out with the ANC, they've made South Africans be aware that they are or they will not be leaving the GNU. And at this point, I believe that the Democratic Alliance is holding on to the government of national unity with the argument that South Africans are safer with the DA in the GNU. I believe one person even said that the Democratic Alliance is staying in the marriage only for the sake of the kids, and the kids being South Africans or the interest of South Africans, governance, and so on and so on. So in terms of, I believe you said statement, and I believe you meant statement of intent. I think the one limitation of the statement of intent is that it is yet to be a legally binding document. And so the DA cannot really hold the ANC to abide by the statement of intent. And I believe that is why most people are saying that we are currently at 3-0, where the ANC is at 3 and the Democratic Alliance is at 0.
I suppose essential to this, Mbasa, is the fact that these are bills that came before the president, before the conclusion of the previous parliament. The DA seems to think now that there's a government of national unity, there would be a moral obligation, if nothing else, for President Cyril Ramaphosa to throw the legislation back to Parliament, for this Parliament to consider them. Is that an unreasonable expectation?
Well, for one, I believe that the Democratic Alliance, to some extent, does have, some water to carry when it says that the president should at least consult with their major or their biggest partner in the government of national unity. But in terms of the law, there is nothing illegal about what the president is doing. Like I said earlier, even the statement of intent is not a legally binding document. However, from my perspective, and for instance, if you look at the ANC's press briefings, you can clearly see that every time there's this kind of event where they pass a controversial bill, they present it as though the 7th administration is simply a continuation of the 6th administration, and that nothing is really going to change in the 7th administration, and that any other partner in the coalition government is simply invited and can leave the GNU when they please, but the ANC will remain in government and they will continue to govern the country.
Which, of course, is a source of distress, right, for not only the DA, but I imagine the remaining partners. Interesting that Helen Zille referred to the remaining partners as being there with the grace and favor of the president, whereas the DA is not. It's an essential partner to this GNU. That statement of intent requires all parties to be consulted on any matters, including previously passed bills. The president, in signing the expropriation bill without consulting the partners, then is breaking that, or at least the spirit of that statement of intent, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I agree with that view because we should remember that all partners involved in the GNU, right, should be working based on a policy of effective and timely communication so that they maintain transparency based on the common ground that they have established before forming the national coalition government. And their ground rules are all set out in the statement of intent. So in the spirit of cooperation, of trust, the ANC, with the position of the president, the ANC should be working with or consulting their biggest partner, at least within the government, so that there are no surprises and that these kind of surprises do not result in public disagreements, as I believe this GNU has been characterized by, starting from the, for instance, the foreign policy implications in its very beginning, BELA, NHI, and now this Expropriation Act.
Of course, the DA went into the government of national unity knowing that these bills were in front of the president. So they knew that these were going to be sticking points in how they co-govern, I suppose, not only in national government, but where else they find themselves in some understanding as far as government is concerned. Now, we have not been read into the meeting yesterday that took place between John Steenhuisen and Cyril Ramaphosa. But what could John Steenhuisen take to that meeting? I mean, what Cyril Ramaphosa can say, okay, cool, what are you going to do about it? I've signed the bill into law, as is my prerogative, enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic. What can John Steenhuisen do in response?
Well, John can, I mean, as DA party leader, I believe that John can attempt to appeal to the president from the perspective of kind of cementing their partnership or cementing their working relationship within the national coalition government. For instance, he can place emphasis on the market's positive reaction to the GNU, how the RAND reacted to the formation of the GNU, the cabinet, and so on and so on. And he would attempt to use these I would say victories within the lifespan of the GNU to try and appeal to the president's consciousness or conscience to argue that let's prioritize the bigger picture as opposed to prioritize short-term victories for our own political party agendas. And I believe that the Democratic Alliance, if they are smart, through their leader, they will paint this idea that they are the partner that is making all of the compromises in the interest of everyone else. So they will present themselves as this partner that is willing to work with the ANC, as they are the ones who carry the spirit of pluralism and the understanding that, of course, any other alternative arrangement would not be good for the economy, the markets, and so on and so on.
All right. And whether that will be enough, I suppose only time will tell. Basa, thank you very much indeed for your time and your insights this morning. Basa Mvenene is a political scientist and a political studies lecturer at Walter Sisulu University, reflecting on the impasse between the DA and the ANC at the moment. And of course, that important meeting taking place between John Steenhuisen and Cyril Ramaphosa. DA leader John Steenhuisen in a briefing yesterday saying our entrance to the GNU was not made lightly, nor will a decision to leave the GNU be taken lightly, saying, however, the DA must be allowed to express itself. If that is not possible, it will make future involvement too difficult to justify to our voters, which is key. If you are a Democratic Alliance voter, what is your reflection on the government of national unity? Is the DA conceding far too much to the ANC? Is there an appearance that the ANC is carrying out its its plan, regardless of the fact that they do not have an outright majority in this administration and in this parliament? Happy to take your calls on 021-446-0567 or 118830702. Your WhatsApp messages and voice notes to 072-702-1702, 072-567-1567.
Rise and shine.
It's a new day. It's early breakfast with Africa Milan.